Still remains in jail on that $1 million bond, and we know before he can bail out, he has to prove that that money is not coming from any of his criminal activity.
Yeah, still many more threads to pull in that story, and we are still waiting on that fourth co-defendant to be arrested as well, continuing to follow up on this story today. We appreciate you joining us here on Fox 35 News Plus this morning. We'll be back at 2 o'clock with Florida Live, and then at 4 o'clock we'll have a special hour-long special on
Florida Live starts now.
Well, good afternoon to you. Welcome into Florida Live. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon live on Fox Local and on YouTube. I want to let you know a little bit of what we have ahead of us over this next hour. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to take you to Capitol Hill, where some congressmen from Florida are questioning sanctuary state governors. This hearing going on right now on Capitol Hill, a House Oversight Committee hearing, been going on for a while now. We have heard a couple of Congress members from Florida get involved in that, and we will play that for you coming up in just a little bit. Also today, we heard from some immigrants from Osceola County who say they were unjustly detained by ICE, taken to a deportation facility in Texas, but were then released and are now back home with their families. They held a news conference today. We will take you inside there in just a little bit as well. But today is Thursday, June 12th, 2025, and that means it is the 9th anniversary of the Pulse Nightclub shooting, when 49 people were killed, 53 others injured in that massacre inside the Pulse Nightclub early in those morning hours. Meanwhile, visits for family members of loved ones who died in that shooting, and also Pulse survivors having the chance to tour that nightclub building before it is torn down. Fox 35's Randy Hildreth joins us live now from the Pulse Nightclub site, where, Randy, I see one of those buses there. It sounds like, or it appears that another group touring inside the building right now.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Garrett. We believe this is about the fourth tour that has started today. Obviously, it takes on a different tone because, as you mentioned, today marks the 9th anniversary of that tragic Pulse nightclub shooting. Just to get your bearings, we're stationed right in front of the drop-off point. The bus pulls up and a small group of people are ushered off the bus. As you mentioned, these are either family members of victims or survivors, and you'll notice that privacy screen in front of us, and it's on both sides, so that people who are processing what they are about to walk into and those emotions that bubble up after they are able to go inside of the nightclub for the first time since that mass shooting, those emotions bubbling to the surface, they have a moment to process that by themselves. A lot of what today has been built on is allowing these families and these survivors to have their moment, to get some closure if that's what they are needing, or at least to get some questions answered. They're able to go in for about 30 minutes and tour the inside. Now, this is not a guided tour, but there are staff inside who will help people identify where their loved one was killed, to understand their last moments. Earlier today, Mayor Buddy Dyer was at the site. We saw him go inside for a moment and come out. He also spoke to the news media here about the significance of this day, the tragic significance of this day, and what this has meant for the families to get this opportunity. We have some sound from him.
I think that everybody's in a different place. Not everybody's having the same response. I did hear that there was one mother that wanted to see the exact location of where her son passed away. So I'm sure there are people that are like that. I'm guessing that most of the families had never been inside Pulse, even when it was a nightclub. So it's a different experience just to kind of understand the space. But it's also much different than it was on a party night with a dance floor and a DJ and all the lights going. It's bare walls in there, and you're really just seeing the space, which we consider to be a sacred space.
And just to give you a little context additionally about what the families of the victims and the survivors will see when they are inside, when we spoke with a city representative yesterday, she said, as the mayor mentioned, the area has been cleared and cleaned. So there are no chairs, there are no tables, but there are still signs of this tragedy inside. There are holes in the wall where people escaped. There are also pieces that have been pierced by bullets, an indication of the horrors that happened early in those hours, as some people, 49 people were killed and many others injured, so many people processing that. Now, we do have those families and those survivors who are touring the site, but some are just coming to the Pulse Nightclub shooting, as they do to mark the anniversary every year, and taking a look at the pictures that are on the outside of the building, doing silent, quiet reflections. I spoke with the niece of one of the victims who said that today was important for her to come here. She didn't get a chance to go inside, but it was important for her to mark this anniversary and reflect on her aunt.
Closure in a sense where those questions will go away, but I'll never stop missing my aunt. I'll never stop thinking about, what life would be like if she was still here, especially now that I live down here. I'd be able to go see her. I got my own car. I could just drive to her house and hang out with her, but I can't do that anymore.
And you could hear the pain in her voice. Her aunt, Brenda Lee Marquez McCall, she beat cancer twice, but was one of the 49 people who was killed by that gunman inside of this nightclub. And so many people are hurting. One of the things that Mayor Buddy Dyer emphasized when we spoke with him this morning is that, when this tragedy happened, so many people came to Orlando and, in that day and maybe the next week processed what was going on, and they may have gone back to their respective homes or wherever they had come from. But for people who are still in the area, this is something, the tragedy of this massacre is something that people feel on a day-to-day basis. And so I'll send it back to you, Garrett.
All right, Fox 35's Randy Hildreth. We appreciate you joining us live from that Pulse site. We know there's been a lot of emotions out there, a difficult site to see with those family members, those loved ones going in and out throughout the day. But we appreciate you joining us this afternoon here on Florida Live.
Thank you.
And those visits will continue through Saturday, actually, the beginning yesterday. And as Randy was explaining, small groups throughout the day. We also know there are some who chose not to do so, and we will hear from some of them in just a little bit as well. We're going to take a break here on Florida Live, but we'll be right back after this. Welcome back into Florida Live. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon live on Fox Local and on YouTube. It is time now for our Tampa connection, and for that we go to Fox 13 news anchor Linda Hurtado. And Linda, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon.
Hi, Garrett. Hey, you guys had a round of storms yesterday, right?
Yeah, just about every day this week, I think.
I think you're right. Well, yesterday's storms resulted in a real scare for a Tampa woman when part of her roof collapsed in on her while she was in the bedroom, in bed, and she got out barely in the nick of time. So Fox 13 spoke with Kara Butler, who says that she was going to bed in her apartment off 58th Street, and she noticed that half the mattress was wet along with her covers. So her daughter came to the home and discovered that the nearby windowsill and the carpet behind the bed were also wet. Butler says she called the landlord and they were going to have someone come over and vacuum up the water. But a while later, things got worse.
I got up to go to bed, and I was talking on the phone and looking up at the ceiling, and I saw a crack, which I didn't see earlier. I saw a crack, and as I was talking, the crack got bigger. And I looked up and I said, it's getting bigger. So I called my daughter. I said, this roof looked like it might be from the cave in. So she ran in the room and she looked at it, and it was coming down, slowly but coming down. But so she grabbed me out the bed, and it wasn't like 3 seconds. By the time I got out of the bed, I didn't even get to the room door. The roof caved in.
Pretty scary, huh? Look at that. So Butler says Hillsborough County Fire Rescue responded a short time later. Crews told her she could not stay in that apartment, so she gathered up some of her belongings and went to her daughter's house. As for what is next, a tarp has been placed over part of that roof, and repairs could be finished in a couple of days. So yeah, that's what can happen in one of our bad Florida afternoon thunderstorms, right?
Yeah, and it happened very quickly too, by the sounds of it.
Yes. Glad she's
Scary.
okay. All right,
Yeah.
So this is an endangered plant story, and I've been here 30-some years, never heard of this plant. I want to see if you have. Florida's growing population, creating a need for new roads, right? And one new proposed highway is leading to warnings that there is a rare endangered plant that could disappear if this takes place. In all of Florida, the blushing scrub balm only grows in Polk County, more specifically in the Lake Marion Creek Wildlife Management Area. Now, FDOT is proposing a toll road dubbed the Central Polk Parkway East from State Road 60 to US 1792 around Davenport. There are two potential routes, both of which Florida Native Plant Society President Gene Kelly says would run near where the blushing scrub balm grows.
It is one of a kind. It is the only place that we know it to occur naturally. It's really going to tie the hands of the land managing agency, that being the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, to continue burning that site to maintain the habitat.
So to preserve the plant, Kelly suggests either moving the toll road as far west as possible or not building it at all. And for those asking, well, why don't you just move the plant? Kelly says it's almost impossible because they have very specific habitat requirements. That's why they only grow in certain areas. And he says another concern is the potential impact on other species if the blushing scrub balm goes away. So FDOT says the project is currently entering the environmental study phase and that the agency will work with ecologists to, quote, avoid and mitigate impacts on sensitive species. All right, this story I got a kick out of today when I saw this video. Kind of curious, Garrett, how you react to this. It was a welcome to Florida for a Largo police officer who moved from New York. So this video we're going to show you shows his first up-close encounter with a Florida gator.
You have big teeth. I have tiny fingers.
He's got little teeth. He's so cute. Oh
Okay.
my God. Okay.
All right, no, wait. Let's talk about how we're going to do this.
If he starts moving, do not drop him. Yeah, do not drop the gator.
Okay, you'll take him back?
I will drop you if you drop the gator.
You'll take him back?
I will take him back.
Okay. So listen, this
He's
is
just
what,
missing a little bit. It's fine.
oh, that's great. Okay, so this is what we're going to do.
Yeah?
I'm going to take, so my left hand's going to go with your right-handed, okay? And then I'm going to go to that one, okay?
Okay.
Let me do it my own. It has so much bite force. Okay, wait.
See that red tape around the mouth? He has 0 bite force.
Slowly. Listen. Mr. Gator. Don't hurt me.
Hold on.
Ah! Oh God! Oh my God! Why? Okay.
hold it. Hold him tight.
Take a picture. Take a picture of me for the love of God. All right, do a good pose.
All right, give him back if you want to.
All right, take
And says he nervously handled the thrashing reptile. I don't know if he was thrashing. I mean, you know.
Maybe wiggling.
Cute, actually. In a social media post, the police department said no officers or gators were harmed. So yeah, Officer Martinez got his official welcome to Florida. Okay,
Right.
It wasn't that big, but I still don't know if I would have held it either. I don't know, Garrett. What about you?
I mean, once it started wiggling, I could kind of understand his reaction a little bit. I've held one once, and it was quite a bit smaller than that, and didn't nearly wiggle as much. I can kind of get the reaction there, but he has certainly officially been initiated.
He's a good sport, though. He's a good
Right.
sport about it because he's letting all of us just, you know, continue to air that funny clip.
Right, exactly. In perpetuity now. Fox 13 news anchor Linda Hurtado, we appreciate you joining us for our Tampa Connection.
Good to see you.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back into Florida Live. A law firm says it helped secure the release of 3 immigrants from Osceola County who they say were unjustly detained and transferred by ICE to a deportation facility in Texas. They are now back home here in Florida and reunited with their families. One of those people was Jennifer Rodriguez Jimenez. Officials say she was detained after a low-level traffic infraction. They also noted that she'd currently been working through the legal immigration process, but was held in detention in Texas for more than 2 months. We're going to play for you as we hear from a couple of the attorneys who worked on this case, and also Jennifer's daughter, who spoke at this news conference as well. The attorneys say that ICE never responded to the attorney's request, but it was immigration judges who finally granted bond in this case. Here's the attorneys and the daughter who spoke at that news conference this morning in Osceola County.
We were hired to represent her on that criminal case, and we immediately got it dropped in Osceola County. Despite of that, an ICE detainer hold was put on her at the Osceola County Jail. She has no criminal record. She paid taxes. She had a valid driver's license, which she was able to obtain. Yet that wasn't enough for ICE. Not only was she held by ICE, Immediately after we got the case dropped at Osceola County, she was swiftly transported, not to Miami, but to Texas to face deportation proceedings. We weren't alerted. Families were kept in the dark. And that's just a good example of how the rhetoric or the narrative that we're hearing throughout the last 4 months or 5 or 6 months as to the majority of immigrants being deported having criminal records is just not true. I believe recent data has indicated that 4 out of every 5 undocumented immigrants being deported have no criminal record. Let that sit in, okay? We are also seeing a pattern of discrimination. As criminal defense attorneys, we have noticed how the application of what we call an invisible new law of driving while Latino, people of brown skin who have facial features as Latinos are being pulled over with the sole intent and purpose to see if they have a valid driver's license or not, get them arrested because they know that once they go into the county jail, they're going to get an ICE detainer hold. And what's sad is that many of these families and individuals do not have access to an attorney. We want to thank the good Lord that we were able to represent Jennifer Rodriguez. She is here with her family, her daughters, her son, her husband, and we were able to give the good fight. And David Martinez, to my left, played a huge role in that. He heads our immigration department as well as Josephine Arroyo. I'd like to close before turning it over to Attorney Josephine Arroyo, saying that a lot of families out there are losing hope. A lot of families are in fear. But I want them to know, as attorneys, that there's still hope. Despite of what may be seen in the media and the fear tactics used against the immigrant community, there is still a place for justice in this country. There is still a place where even in the darkest moments, even when the odds seem overwhelming, justice still has a place in this country. This country is not made weaker with the contributions of immigrants. It makes us stronger. I think it's very important to clarify the misunderstanding or misinformation that our beloved U.S. Constitution does not apply to immigrants. If we read the text of the U.S. Constitution, it is very clear. Nowhere does it say, when it comes to equal protection, nowhere does it say only citizens are protected. It says persons. And that's the beautiful thing about our founding fathers, who actually embraced immigration.
There is a dangerous, widespread misinformation campaign happening that the only individuals being detained by ICE or targeted with immigration holds are violent or undocumented. That is simply not true. Those who are here legally and following every step of the immigration process are being targeted as well. We are here to highlight recent examples of this that our firm has handled. These individuals, specifically Jennifer Rodriguez Jimenez, are legally present in the United States. Their criminal charges were criminal traffic tickets and/or misdemeanors, yet they were detained by ICE. In the past, ICE was not putting holds on these low-level offenses, nonviolent and traffic charges, and definitely not someone who had a pending legal immigration process. It was only for violent crimes and those who were undocumented. But now, because of the mass deportation agenda, presidential executive orders, and new Florida legislation, what we are experiencing today seems to be our new normal. These individuals were torn away from the families. These women are mothers who were flown across the country far away from their homes to a Texas detention center as if they were fugitives and held in detention for over 2 months. We do have an individual client who is a male who stayed in the Miami detention center and is in the process of getting released since bond was just granted a couple of days ago. These detention centers are overcrowded and plagued with persistent human rights violations, as Mr. Arroyo just stated, which create severely traumatic environments for the detainees. Due to these environments, many detainees choose to abandon their legal claims and opt for self-deportation. They really are being pressured inside these detention centers to self-deport. They are being forced to choose between their rights and their well-being. This system is designed to break people down, but I want to applaud these individuals who stood strong and courageous, who fought to be reunited with their families, even when they were filled with fear. The only thing stronger than fear is hope.
This was a very hard process because we were never like that apart from my mom. We were every day, we share our mornings and everything. And this was very hard. At first, we didn't know what to do. Everything was like so overwhelming, and thank God we found this law firm because we didn't know what to do. And we heard from people she was gonna get deported. Our life in Colombia is not the best right now, and that's why we were like worried about it. And it was really hard. These past 2 months was really hard. Seeing her through a phone, hearing from her. Last 2 calls, we saw her, and she was her health was not the best. The process right now of like seeing what's going to happen or what's happening right now in this country, like it really affects us because we don't know what's gonna happen. And I think it's not, what's the word? No es justo. It's not fair that we as people had to suffer and pass through these experiences because we have rights as everyone.
We'll be right back with more Florida Live after this. Live look right now on Capitol Hill, where the House Oversight Committee is hearing testimony from so-called sanctuary state governors to discuss their state status as refuge from migrants. You see Governor Tim Walz there of Minnesota. That's Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, Governor Kathy Hochul of New York, among those governors who have been testifying today. Now, two members of this House Oversight Committee, Congressman Byron Donalds, a Republican from the Naples area, also Congressman Maxwell Frost, a Democrat from the Orlando area. They had their chance to speak with these governors as well. I want to play for you a segment as we heard from them questioning the governors who were testifying. Congressman Donalds asked the governor of Illinois and New York about how many taxpayer dollars are going toward undocumented immigrants. And then Congressman Frost asked what they would do if the Trump administration followed through on their threats to arrest governors for obstructing deportation efforts.
Governor Pritzker, how much does the state of Illinois spend on illegal immigration every year?
Again, illegal immigration, that's a federal responsibility. They could tell how much is wasted as a result of their failures.
Governor, don't you keep track of how many people are on your Medicaid rolls, how many people who are illegal immigrants in the state of Illinois who are getting actually benefits in your state? Doesn't your government keep track of that?
They don't get Medicaid in Illinois or any state as far as I know.
Governor Pritzker, you do not keep track of any public service dollars in the state of Illinois that goes to illegal immigrants or goes to people in your state who are not legal residents of the United States and of the state of Illinois. You don't keep track of that.
We absolutely keep track of our budget, and we're very closely, and in fact, it's been balanced for 7 years in a row, unlike the Republican before me. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I noticed that in the state of Illinois, you guys don't really keep track of your money, because I asked your mayor in Chicago similar question about a month ago, and he didn't have an answer. It was quite interesting. I think this might be an Illinois problem. Governor Hochul, in your state, you are spending about roughly $4 billion on illegal immigration, and at the same time, you are actually asking the federal government for $4 billion to finish Penn Station. Don't you think it would be better to stop funding illegal immigrants in your state and actually use those resources to finish Penn Station as opposed to coming to the federal government for the money?
Penn Station is owned by Amtrak, not by the state, so it's an appropriate use of their dollars, and Donald Trump has agreed to spend upwards of $7 billion. I appreciated that very much. What we spend on immigrants, the immigrants who are here hardworking to live a life and working on our farms and taking care of our parents in nursing homes and taking care of our children, they have been coming here for 400 years. And we don't keep track of individuals based on their status. We make sure that people have services so we don't end up with an unexpected.
So essentially what you're telling me is that you keep no track of money that is going to people who are not legal in the United States, resources that are taken away from New Yorkers, resources that are taken away from Illinoisans. You guys do not keep track of any of this.
You know what's really challenging is that many people came here with legal status. I mean, temporary protective status, 300,000.
Do you
all of a sudden they wake up one day and it's gone.
Do you go along with the strategy from the Biden administration, which massively expanded immigration protocols that overwhelmed your city and overwhelmed your state? Do you agree with that?
We call for secure borders. We call for this body to
I never
do its
remember
job.
you calling for secure borders at all, Governor Hochul.
We certainly have.
That
we
doesn't
certainly
sound
have.
like to my memory.
Many conversations I had with the White House. We asked for federal resources. I mean, you're putting a federal problem on our laps, and you know what? It gets old after a while. I wish you would just do your job.
If your party
and
actually would
pass
do the job of
meaningful
securing the nation the way President Trump has now had to do twice, we wouldn't be in this predicament. Wouldn't you agree? Do you agree or disagree that securing the nation's borders is the job of the President of the United States? President Trump has done that job twice now.
There is no mass deportation campaign. Deportation is a process that is not being followed right now. What's going on is people are being snatched up in the middle of the streets, trafficked, kidnapped in the middle of the streets, trafficked to other countries without due process. Trump is taking blatantly illegal and inhumane actions to stoke protests and then escalating things from there. Over the weekend, he sent the U.S. troops to California. This is dangerous. First, the California National Guard without the governor's support, and now the Marines. The Marines are trained to fight and win wars, not to de-escalate a protest in the heart of an American city. Members of our armed services have sworn an oath to the Constitution. They didn't swear an oath to Donald Trump, and they're not his personal army. And so in the face of a wannabe dictator, we have to have strong opposition. First, the Trump administration says they're going to arrest judges. Then they arrested a judge. Then they talk about arresting elected officials. Then a mayor gets arrested. Then they said they'd arrest a member of Congress, and one has been indicted. A Democratic member of Congress has been indicted. And now we have Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, who's threatened to arrest the California governor. And I don't think we should take this as an empty threat. Why is Trump now saying he wants to arrest governors? It's because he knows that some of the people who are going to be the greatest opposition to his lawlessness are Democratic governors standing up for their people. And so I'm just curious to hear from our three governors here today, because these things can be put forth as hypotheticals, but they're not hypotheticals. Elected officials are being arrested. This is happening. The DOJ is being weaponized against us. So if federal agents were to come to your door, to the governor's mansion, approach your security staff to arrest you, you have Tom Homan on the news saying, I want to arrest Governor Hochul, Governor Pritzker, Governor Walz. What do you do? What do you say? I'm just curious.
The job of governor is very different than the job you're doing, but we need you. We need to work together. No one here wants to hear these horrific stories, but we have a job to do on limited resources. And equating that not doing ICE's job means we're not cooperating, we're patrolling our highways. I'm proud that Minnesota's a state third lowest in traffic deaths. If we start doing all the things that ICE, and nothing we do precludes them from doing their job. And so threatening and political, and I did not realize, I guess, I watch it, I didn't realize how much animosity there's here. We have a responsibility to the American public to work together, and I think threatening arrest on elected officials, Congressman, it doesn't help any of us. And Governor Pritzker's right. Our citizens are scared and angry, and it's not necessary. We can fix this with a bipartisan border bill. Help us out.
Thank you, Governor. I want to end by saying former Governor and now Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem just last year said that federalizing the National Guard would be a direct attack on states' rights. And now she's cheering it on. President Trump has consolidated power so much in his own party, there's little to no, pretty much zero, opposition left to his lawlessness. We hear it in this room right now. And the last thing I want to say, too, is what's going on right now is not just a distraction from the fact that they want to pass a massive tax break for the richest Americans and take away services and things from working families, but it's to enable it. These aren't two different stories, because the only way you rip away health care from 15 million Americans in this country and not feel like you have to fear for your job or that you're going to be protested every day is by scaring the people and suppressing their First Amendment right. What's going on in Los Angeles and what this Donald Trump wants to do around the nation is directly connected to the fact that he's going to take away health care from all of these people, 15 million Americans, to benefit people like him and his donors. And it's shameful. These aren't two different things. It's the same thing.
That was from that hearing, which is continuing again at this hour. It has been going on for several hours today. I believe it started around 10 o'clock this morning, so about 4 hours now, and beyond that as it continues. We're going to take a break here on Florida Live, but we'll be right back after this. Welcome back into Florida Live, and here's a live look outside the Pulse Nightclub site in Orlando on this 9th anniversary of the massacre that took the lives of 49 people, injured 53 others. We know that the site visits for survivors and the family members of the victims are continuing today. Does not appear to be a bus there right now, so kind of in between visits right now. We know the buses have been shuttling these groups back and forth between from a hotel in the area as well. We heard today from one Pulse survivor, Joshua Hernandez, who chose to speak with reporters about his decision not to tour the Pulse site before it is torn down. He said he originally planned to tour it, but ended up deciding against it. He also talked about being shot several times that night and what his path to recovery has been like. Here's what he said earlier today as he talked about that night, what he remembers, and continuing to heal all these years later.
I'm a Pulse survivor. At the moment when the shooting started, at that moment I was on the restroom. When everything started, I said, this is the music, or this is somebody shooting. So I go to the door, I see everybody running to the restroom. So I say, I run or I stay on the restroom? So I stay on the restroom, we close the door, and then that guy come shoot the door, and then he do this. So we wait for 3 hours. I don't know, I have a bullet on my left arm. And after the 3 hours, they stand up. I see that I have a bullet. Then, I have a bullet here with nice screw. I have a metal. And over here, come another shot, affect me 4 organs, and I still have a bullet inside of me. And then the 3 hour I go to the hospital, and then we get the surgery, and then I reunited with my family.
So it took 3 hours for
3
you
hours.
to get to the hospital?
Yes.
After you were shot, you laid in
Yes.
the bathroom?
Yes.
Okay, so today you had the opportunity to get on the bus, to go to Pulse, to walk inside that building again, and you're not going to do it.
I'm not gonna do it.
Why?
For my mental health, and I don't wanna sign any waiver. I'm not interested to that. So for my mental, I wanna stay out. And then I wanna close this chapter of my life, because I want to keep going with my life. I don't wanna be 20 years, repeat this for 20 years. I'm tired already. I want to be good with my life and keep going. And keep going strong, because it's not easy. I think like every day, it feels like yesterday. It's hard because I think in the 49 mothers, because they not have their children, and break my heart, because I'm here, thank God, but I always think on the mothers because they lose their children. And my heart is always broke. And it's hard to seguir hacia adelante. Está difícil, porque pues it's been 9 years on the same page, and we don't get answers about the justice, because they have no code violations, but the city not do nothing to check and impact the burden. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So Joshua, if I may, you were considering going on the bus and going to Pulse today.
Yeah, I was going out the first time, but I say not going now, because I don't want to sign a waiver. So I stay outside, because I know I'm not gonna be good mental, because it's hard. I don't want to see restroom. I don't want to see the bullet. So I just want to be good. I don't want to be with a lot of trauma that I have already. So I want to finish this.
So you're talking to us with a binder, a
Yes.
huge binder in your hand, and you have plans for today, other plans.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
We're going to give it this to the Florida attorney, Monique, she check all the to check all these reports and evidence to see she can help to get the justice we need.
So even after this meeting with the FBI yesterday, there are several of you who are still not satisfied with this investigation.
No, we don't start to satisfy because they still need to investigate because that post have exit black, window black, we know, and the city want to hide it. Why? We know. We have a lot of reports that, and we are right. I'm not a liar. I have the story because I was there that night. So I'm tired to call us liar, and we know our liar.
What does justice look like for you?
They need to do criminal investigation. They need to do the audit to One Pulse Foundations and inspect the building because they have block exit, window exit. If no block exit or window, most of the life was here. So they have the black exit, so we need to get the justice.
You can see when he's talking about walking through that building again, the emotion in his voice and saying it would not be good for him to go back there. We know when it comes to the family members of the 49 who were killed, about 25 decided to go through the building, which leaves about the other half who decided not to. Don't have the numbers on the survivors. We know about 250 total people had signed up to go through those site visits that are continuing this afternoon on this 9th anniversary. We should also note that at 5:30 this evening at a church in Orlando, I'm going to have the annual Pulse Remembrance Ceremony. They are going to toll the bell 49 times, read the names of the 49 victims, and a number of other things as well. We will have more coverage of that coming up later. We will also have a full hour-long special on Fox Local Orlando from 4 to 5 as we remember Pulse 9 years later. We are going to take a break here on Florida Live, but we'll be right back after this. Welcome back into Florida Live. I'm Garrett Weimer. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. Attorney General James Uthmeyer was in Titusville today with the Brevard County Sheriff and also some of the state's top immigration enforcement officials. They were announcing a new ICE liaison that was appointed in Florida. His name is Anthony Coker, and Florida now becomes the first state to have an embedded ICE agent working with state officials when it comes to immigration enforcement. They also talked about some anti-doxing programs for ICE agents, for other law enforcement officers participating in these illegal immigration crackdowns.
Two big announcements. One, we're excited to be the first state to announce our own ICE agent embed in the state. Agent Coker will be housed here with our leadership team in Florida as we work to support the Trump administration's efforts to combat illegal immigration. We have a great collaborative operation with the feds, with ICE, and we're very, very proud to support them. So thank you for being here with us today. Number two, we're going to talk about a new program that we're executing to protect ICE agents. Around the country, especially in California, you're seeing a new effort where leftist groups are attacking ICE agents by revealing their personal identifying information, including family information. This is called doxing, if you're not yet aware. Releasing this public information for the purposes of intimidating, threatening, and distracting them from their duties. We're not going to tolerate that in Florida. That is illegal in Florida. If we find you doing that, we will hold you accountable, and we'll talk a little bit about our program there. But as an overarching matter, we are not California. We do not allow rioting in the state of Florida. It's been 4 or 5 years now since the senator and her team passed the Anti-Rioting Act in Florida. As always, we are proactive. And if you want to throw things at vehicles, rocks, or other objects, you're going to do time. If you want to light things on fire and put people in harm's way, you're going to do time. If you want to burn down businesses, if you want to wreak havoc and destruction in Florida, we have enhanced penalties to ensure you will do time. So we do not tolerate rioting, as groups talk about assembling over the weekend. We haven't seen much of that in Florida, but if you do, these guys, the Sheriff's Office, Colonel Howes, and the team, we are ready across the state to ensure that it is nipped in the bud right away. So today, we're excited to announce our collaborative work with ICE. The doxing is not going to happen. We've set up a program where any ICE agent that believes personal identifying information has been revealed will be able to report that to Colonel Howes and the FHP team so that they can begin, routine checkups and patrols to go make sure the families are okay, to keep an eye on the agents and their homes and their families. We want them here. We want them protecting our society. But while they're protecting our families, we're going to protect theirs. So Agent Coker, we've got your back. Your colleagues, we've got their backs. You guys ensure law and order. The voters last November made loud and clear that we want to ensure law and order. We want to enforce against illegal immigration, and we will stop at nothing to protect you and keep you guys safe. We're the law and order state. So with that, I will turn it over to Sheriff Ivey.
Good morning, everybody. So I want to start out by thanking our Attorney General for joining us here in beautiful Brevard County. Our Attorney General and Governor Ron DeSantis also for their amazing support for law enforcement. Public safety in our communities is like nothing we've ever seen before. People are moving to Florida in droves because this is the free state of Florida. They're moving here because they know their families will be safe here, their businesses will be safe. They won't have to contend with what we're seeing in places like Los Angeles and New York and Chicago, those things that are happening right now as we stand here today speaking. Our general was, I will say, very instrumental, was the tip of the spear in our blueprint for Free Florida. And now he's the tip of the spear in making sure that we are protecting what I like to call our 3 C's, our citizens, our cops, and our Constitution. And he has stood strong with not only law enforcement, but with us here in Brevard County, and we appreciate you. I'm gonna start out by addressing the doxing issue that we were talking about. Our ICE agents, just like our Florida Highway Patrol, are our partners. We all ride together in this. We all are out here to make sure that we're protecting our citizens, protecting our communities. Many of them have been called to the border. Many of them have been called to other locations to deal with the amount of fugitives and things that are going on, detainers. So for us, we will have their back. We will work closely with Colonel Howes and his team in making sure that we're increasing patrol, we're watching them. Anybody that's doxing them, as the General said, we passed a law about 4 or 5 years ago that makes it illegal to dox here in the state of Florida. So anybody that's doing that, we will take them to full task on doing it. We will stand with you. I want to define a couple things, and our general was very kind in how he said things. I'm not as usually as elegant in how I say things, so I'm gonna first say that peaceful protests are part of our democracy. We invite people to share their opinions. That's what our country is all about. The key word in that is peaceful, and if it's peaceful, us in law enforcement are going to make sure you have a safe environment to do it in. That's part of that process. If you let it turn violent, whoo, you do not want to do that in Brevard County. I'm going to tell you that, and I believe I can speak for my fellow sheriffs around the rest of the state. You don't want to let it happen. And just so there's no confusion, because I don't want to hear any whining later saying we didn't know, I'm going to break it down for you, all right? Because as you watch these riots unfold across the rest of the country, what you are seeing is buildings being burned down, police cars being bricked, having explosive devices thrown on them, having fire, guns pointed at them, bricks thrown at them, all and on. So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop.
Strong words there from the Brevard County Sheriff at that news conference earlier today in Titusville. We do expect to hear again from the Attorney General, I believe at the 3 o'clock news conference scheduled as well. That's going to do it for us, though, here on Florida Live. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon. Been a busy day, and the news will certainly continue later today as well. We're here every day, 2 o'clock, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Appreciate you joining us. That's going to do it for us today. Hope to see you tomorrow.
Florida Live starts now.
Well, good afternoon to you. Welcome into Florida Live. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon live on Fox Local and on YouTube. I want to let you know a little bit of what we have ahead of us over this next hour. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to take you to Capitol Hill, where some congressmen from Florida are questioning sanctuary state governors. This hearing going on right now on Capitol Hill, a House Oversight Committee hearing, been going on for a while now. We have heard a couple of Congress members from Florida get involved in that, and we will play that for you coming up in just a little bit. Also today, we heard from some immigrants from Osceola County who say they were unjustly detained by ICE, taken to a deportation facility in Texas, but were then released and are now back home with their families. They held a news conference today. We will take you inside there in just a little bit as well. But today is Thursday, June 12th, 2025, and that means it is the 9th anniversary of the Pulse Nightclub shooting, when 49 people were killed, 53 others injured in that massacre inside the Pulse Nightclub early in those morning hours. Meanwhile, visits for family members of loved ones who died in that shooting, and also Pulse survivors having the chance to tour that nightclub building before it is torn down. Fox 35's Randy Hildreth joins us live now from the Pulse Nightclub site, where, Randy, I see one of those buses there. It sounds like, or it appears that another group touring inside the building right now.